Alright, so the topic of this video is, you read the title. It is going to be about dealing with this dunya, dealing with the illusions of this dunya, dealing with the desires of this dunya. And I just want to explain a quick concept before we get straight into this video. And that concept is instant and delayed gratification. And I'm not gonna lie, for this past few weeks, I've been struggling with this. I've been indulging in multiple instant gratification, and I realized that I fell into a rut. And that's why I decided to, make this video. And this is somewhat of an accountability video, but also for those who want to learn, right? Basically, at the start of the year, I wasn't really where I wanted to be. Because, backtrack into the summer of 2 years ago, I was super ultra productive. I kept getting things done. I got good grades. I was meditating. I was journaling, eating healthy, eating clean. I was fasting throughout the day so I can keep my mind clear, attacking my YouTube videos, and just basically getting everything done. I was as lean. I was as lean as I ever was. I had the highest grades I ever had. I had a job too. I was working. I was praying. I was reading. I was meditating. I was journaling. I was doing all the good habits that you can think of. And suddenly, I had a burnout. I fell into a rut. And suddenly, it just went down from there. And the thing is, the number one most important thing is mental clarity, your mental health, and your mindfulness. Because if you're not mindful, if you don't have that mental clarity, you're not going to have that ability to choose the right decisions. You're not going to have the ability to choose the healthy foods over the junk food. You're not going to have the ability to work on a skill, to work on a craft, or to do something productive instead of doing instant gratification habits like playing video games, for example. You're not going to have that motivation to want to improve your life. Instead, you're just going to play video games because it's the easy way out. And you know what? This kind of mindset, some people may have it, or some people at the time had it. When they first learned about it, they went at it hard. But then we just fall off. And the thing is, you don't ever leave self-improvement. You just go through ups and downs. We're like water. We're like the ocean. There will be waves of ups and downs. But the important thing is to be mindful of it. To be mindful of when you are down and up, so you can catch yourself in that position, so you don't fall back in the same position. When I woke up, I felt the junk food I ate from yesterday. I felt sluggish. I felt like my mind is groggy. I couldn't control my thoughts. And I just felt like I'm not in the place I want to be. I know I could do better. And so then I just got up and I looked at myself in the mirror and asked myself, is this world that we're living in temporary, or is this world that we're living in eternal or forever? Obviously, it's not forever. It's temporary. And so then, if it's temporary, I asked myself, what should I be doing with this temporary time? And with this temporary time, if you may be religious or not, what purpose you may have. But to me, the highest purpose is pleasing God. And so, do you think you are pleasing God when you're wasting time, when you're being lazy, when you're procrastinating, when you could be helping other people. You could be using, you know, for example, for me, like I was reflecting back, Malcolm X, and he used his voice to help out people to get out there, be productive, to, speak about civil rights. And his voice changed and impacted many people. And I just stood there acting like, if I truly believe in the power of God, then I should have no doubt that I can achieve things that other people achieved. Don't put people on a pedestal, because if you put people on a pedestal, number one, you stop believing in the power of God. And number two, you start losing belief in yourself. Because if you think that they're so high up, that they're immeasurable to climb up to where they're at, then you're never going to get to where they're at. You need to have that mindset inside of you and instill it inside your mind that these guys are humans and you're a human too. You're both humans and you can accomplish the same things as other human beings, right? And basically, if we make our purpose to please God, to make God happy, to make Him look at us and say, this is the beauty of my creation, right? You just imagine Him smiling. David Goggins and Andrew Tate all have this certain mindset inside of them. Even before Andrew Tate wasn't even Muslim yet. And David Goggins isn't even Muslim. And he says that, or they both say that, I want, at the end of my life, when God opens the book of my life, I want Him to take a look at it and say that when I was writing Him, I did not expect Him to be this. Like, He wanted to shock God into the results that He wanted. Because both Andrew Tate and both David Goggins, they came from the slums. They suffered. And they both went through the trials and tribulations of their life. And they didn't use that as an excuse, but they used that as a way for them to strengthen themselves. And let me go back to the part of Malcolm X, right? Malcolm X used his voice to fight against civil rights, to fight against racism, to fight for equality. And I just look at myself at third person perspective, like depersonalization. Like, I got off on my body and just looked at myself like, you could do the same thing. He was human, you're human too. You could be helping your brothers and sisters in Palestine by using your voice for fighting for justice. But instead, you choose to waste time. Why? Because fighting for justice is boring. And what I mean by that, let me elaborate on that a little bit more. The stuff that are high dopamine, but have no benefits for you in the long run. Video games, watching movies, these stuff, colorful stuff, wasting time scrolling through YouTube shorts, I can raise up my hand and say that I do that, right? But it's understanding, right? When you understand that these things doesn't benefit you, these things make you happy in the long run, but these things benefit you in the short term, but not in the long run. But the things that don't benefit you right now, like it doesn't make you feel good, but makes you feel good in the long run, makes your future self happy, those are the things that you need to do, and you need to instill that back into your mind if you've forgotten it. The greatest tip that anyone can remember is delayed gratification. If someone does delayed gratification for his whole entire life, he will become successful. Like, just imagine a person who focuses on delayed gratification. You know what? I'm gonna wake up. I don't want to take this cold shower, but I'm gonna take this cold shower because the delayed gratification effects of me feeling good, me feeling happier, mental clarity. I don't want to feel like meditating right now because I'd rather go and, let's say, for example, the game that I've been playing a lot, but just quit again on it, Dragon Ball Legends, right? Which one should I do? Imagine saying I choose to play this video game instead of meditating and working on my mental health. imagine that the thing that does in your subconscious mind is that you're basically saying, I don't care about you. I only care about now. And that is the same mindset that people who have poor mental health have. Right? So if you want the highest possible life quality you can live, is to remember and instill that in your mind if you have forgotten it or you never learned it. Delayed gratification. Right? Running hurts. My knees hurt. My butt hurts. My shoulders hurt. My back hurts. When running, it feels so bad. But after you finish it, that mental clarity, and during the run, it's called runner's high. That's why I love running so much. It's a love and hate relationship. I love it so much because of the benefits, but I also hate it because of how bad and how sucky it is. But that's the power of delayed gratification. Now, come on, let's imagine this scenario where you got up, you worked on your goals, became as productive as you can be, versus if you chose the habits that were only short-term pleasure, short-term pleasure. Obviously, the person who chose the long-term would feel much greater. Now, let's see two cavemans, right? So the one caveman went out, said goodbye to his family, and went out to hunt, versus the second caveman who stayed home in his cave and beat his meat for the entire day, right? Who do you think would find more fulfillment? Obviously, the caveman who went out and hunt because he came home. His family's proud of him. He's proud of himself. Right? Because let's be honest, men, they love it when they're praised by others, right? Or they earn that respect. But versus the caveman that just stayed home and beat his meat all day, or slept with his wife throughout the entire day instead of hunting for food. He listened to his wife, said, come on, stay a little bit longer. But versus to the man that said, no, I gotta go hunt. Obviously, that man will feel more better, will have more confidence, will feel more fulfilled. So, in conclusion, we need to say no to these things that may feel good right now. We need to stop that voice inside of our head. We need to stop that monkey mind inside of our head that keeps telling us to do things that are pleasurable in the current moment, but benefit us in no way. And you also need to stop that mindset, about in your head saying that this lifestyle is extreme. This lifestyle is not extreme. It's just to be a normal human being. If you think about hunter-gatherers back then, they would be so disappointed in us. This is not even human being behavior anymore. The things that we do, scroll to YouTube shorts, like our mind and each and everything we do, eating the junk food, the processed food, our mind is not built for this yet, or like it hasn't adapted to this yet. We're still in that hunter-gatherer mindset, and yet we keep doing these things that companies do for us or make just for them to get more dollars in their pockets. So the only way, or a good way to do, is just to accept it, right? What do I mean by accept it? Accepting the situation that you're currently in, right? And making a plan on how to get out of it. So basically, these are companies. They're companies, right? Video game companies. They have psychologists on how to make men stick on, to use your drive to conquer, to take it over, invade, to rule, to fight. They use all of those tactics and they put it into a game. And They use psychologists to hook you on into the game to make you play longer, to stay on longer. Right? So false sense of achievement. And instead of achieving in real life, you're achieving it in a video game. Number 2, junk food. They use, I think it's called food chemists. They use food chemists in order for you to stay hooked onto a food, junk food. Like, I'm not gonna lie here, junk food is really tasty. Like, if you ask a person, it's no joke, which one would you get? A big cake or fruits? Most of society would say the cake, obviously, because there's food chemists that work on the food to make the smells good, the palate good on your mouth, right? And basically that just gives people hooked on the junk food. And once you realize that these companies make these food not for you to be more healthy, or not for you to be a better person, but for you to be sluggish, junky, and for basically their main purpose is for you to buy that. They want you to buy that cake, because when they buy that cake, they get more money of it, and it's cheap too. Think about it, it's cheap for them to make it, and it makes them more richer, right? And number 3, pornography slash, things that, it's hard to explain here. Pornography slash like OnlyFans, that type of behavior, right? So basically, one of the most powerful things in a human being is sexual power, sexual energy. And they use that, right? They take that away from you. They take their soul. Like, basically, they're taking your soul away from you. You don't own your soul anymore, because when you get hard and then you get the urge that you want to jack off, you say you own your soul, but do you really own your soul when you can't even control your own hand? When you can't even control what you do, what actions you can control and what actions you can't? So basically, they want you to be weak when it comes to your sexual power. They make you weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker until you're in their hook. You're basically that fish swimming around, you see. And then these companies, their bait are the woman, right? You fall for the bait and they hook you on, and the money keeps coming in. It keeps coming in and coming in. And what ends up happening is you make them more richer and richer and richer and richer, while your health depletes. And a normal, sane, healthy person can put their hand up and say that you don't want that for yourself. You don't want to make other evil companies richer while your health depletes, because health is wealth, right? So I'm gonna end off this video with a quote that I'm just gonna make up in my mind right now. Pleasure is the enemy, while delayed gratification is the key. You guys like that one? That's enough for me. Improve your life. Be the best possible man you can be. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.